Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutzler. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you one of my many recipes for creme brulee. Creme brulee, best described as a baked custard, and the brulee is nothing but caramelized sugar on top. Very easy to make. However, it is a little bit of a process that you have to pay attention to the details. Join me now as I show you how I make one. Well, at this time, I'd like to say thank you very much to all the current subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. For those of you first-time visitors or repeat guests who have not yet subscribed and enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, as well as hit the notification bell and be up to date with all of our weekly posts. Let's get baking. To begin, I have a pot with whole milk in it. I will then add my orange zest. I left them in long strips just to make the straining process much easier. Next, we're going to add cardamom. What I'll do is I like to crack the pot open, remove the seed. I drop it in there, every bit a little bit of flavor. There are three types of cardamom. You have a white, you have green, and black cardamom. Green cardamom is your middle of the road. Nice mild flavor. That's what I'm using and I recommend highly for this. The white cardamom is bleached green cardamom, and black cardamom is very robust and smoky. It literally is a good substitution for bacon if you're doing vegetarian stuff. Now we will take this pot, put it to the low heat, and we want to scald it. Properly scalded milk is milk that reaches the temperature of 144.5 degrees Fahrenheit. While we have the milk coming up to the temperature, let's go ahead in a medium-sized bowl. Let's add our granulated sugar. Let's add our eggs and vanilla bean paste. Then we'll add a pinch of salt and orange juice. And then go ahead and mix this together. Now that everything is incorporated, we will check on our milk, and once it hits the 144.5 degrees Fahrenheit, we are ready to temper. Well, now that our milk has tempered, we're going to go ahead and strain this into a measuring cup. The only reason I'm straining into a measuring cup is because it has the spout and it makes it easier to pour, which will be very handy when we're pouring them into the dishes when we bake it. Now, this is probably the hardest and most important part. This is when we incorporate the hot milk into the eggs. This is called tempering. We're going to go ahead and slowly add a little bit at a time and go ahead and mix this in. Because we're adding it little at a time, it's slowly going to increase the temperature of the egg mixture. Had you dumped all this in there at one time, you're going to scramble the egg because it's going to heat up way too fast. Now that the milk has been mixed into the egg mixture, as you've seen from the stirring, all of these air bubbles that came to the top, they're no friend of ours. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to skim this. So what I tend to do is just at the back of a spoon, push it to the side, and then go ahead and gently take your spoon and just kind of run it across the top of the surface of the custard. Well, here's a little pro tip. Whenever I make custards, I always strain it one final time. If you notice in the custard, some of the egg whites did not break down. So just like in my quiche recipe, I strain it again through the finest mesh sieve that you have. And this enables it to take out some of those, any type of solid or thicker pieces, and yield a much creamier and smoother custard. Now comes the time to fill our dishes. Definitely use something that's oven safe, obviously. I like using hotel pans because creme brulee you must absolutely bake in a water bath. So what I'm going to do is begin filling my dishes. Gently pour them in. And when I fill mine, I don't go all the way to the top. I leave myself a little bit of a gap. Well, now, I didn't do too bad a job with this one. This one doesn't have any air bubbles on it. These only have like 2 or so. So now what you want to do is kind of skim them out. I like using a demi-tasse spoon. Gives it easier to work with because it's so small. And then I will just either pop the bubble like so, or I will skim it up. Now, carefully transfer your pan to the oven. We have it preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. You will now add water. Carefully pour this in. You don't want to splash any into your custard. Now I have most of the water poured in. I'm going to slide this into the oven carefully because I don't want to spill any custard into water bath. And then I will finish the remaining water while it's in its final baking position. We will now bake it for 45 minutes. Well, here we are. It actually went 49 minutes is the baking time that worked for me. And what I do is I check it. You carefully, if it's too hot for you, obviously remove it, maybe using tongs or an offset spatula. But what I'm doing is I shake like this. What you're looking for is the edges should be set, and then the center should jiggle a little bit. We have achieved our destination. So now we will carefully remove them from the water bath and allow them to cool to room temperature. And then you can store them in the refrigerator wrapped with plastic wrap. Well, here we are at the final stages. Our custard is nice and set. Let's go ahead and use some granulated sugar. Add a nice little bit on there and go ahead and move it around like this. This is gonna make it really nice and level. And now let's go ahead and with your torch, go ahead and gently start caramelizing the sugar. Because of the time of year, I'm using gooseberries and pomegranate. Well, there you have creme brulee. Pretty straightforward process, not really super challenging. Some recommendations are, just as it's traditionally served in shallow, wider dishes, that's recommended simply because it's gonna cook a little quicker that way. I could have opted to go with a little deeper type of cups, but remember the water you'd have to fill even deeper because the water level must be equal to that of the custard inside the dish. And the only thing it's gonna do is it's gonna take a little longer to cook simply because the depth of the water will take longer to heat up. So if you're going to go in that direction with a deeper dish, then be sure to compensate for the additional time. As I mentioned, ours took 49 minutes to do. 45 probably would have worked, but I felt like it was just a little too loose and too jiggly. At the lower temperature like that, it's not going to be that much carryover cooking, if you know what I mean. So, I put it in for a couple extra minutes just to see. Flavors, endless combinations of flavors you could do. What I tend to do is always keep within the season and using fruits that are readily available and fresher. Well, I hope you enjoyed the demonstration and would love to hear some comments and questions if you have any. Give it a shot, see how the recipe works for you, and give me some feedback. Thank you for joining. You have it.